Yes, bye.
Sunday chat with Richard.
There's nobody here yet.
That's all right.
How lovely. We'll
That's
just
all right.
sit and chat amongst ourselves.
I think I've got a pimple
Pimple
on my knee.
Oh,
Yeah.
how lovely, Paul.
It's sort of catching on the fabric.
Oh, wow. Lovely. So this is Sunday Chat Live.
Sunday chat!
There's one person just arrived.
And
Welcome.
can they hear us?
Can you let us know in a message that you can hear us loud and clear?
And 2 thumbs up. One person and 2 thumbs up. That's good.
Hello, Monica. Welcome. You're the first here. Welcome.
Oh.
Hello, Coffee.
Hello, Coffee.
Can you let us know that you can hear us?
I didn't read. What did that say? Oh, I see. Yeah. Yes. Good,
Hello,
good.
MC, Gillian, Reva's mum, Diana,
Boring.
Sarah, Stevie Weavy. Good morning.
Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you very much. Good. Welcome to the show. We've got 10 people with us. We're just going to say hi. Hi, Donna. And hi, Sherry.
You used to like sherry, didn't you?
A glass of sherry.
Yes.
Yeah, I love a glass of sherry, but it gives me heartburn now as I'm older.
Hi, Janet. Was that Harvey's Bristol cream? That's what you liked.
I used to love a glass of Harvey's Bristol cream whilst decorating the Christmas tree and getting slowly drunk.
Yes. Other sherries are available.
Good
from
morning.
Other manufacturers.
Yeah, but they're not paying us.
No. What's it's not paying us either.
Good morning, Craig. Good morning, James. Good morning, Lily.
Oh, I like
Anita.
Lily.
No. Lily. What a lovely name Lily is.
That's lovely. Yeah.
It's just started snowing in northeast Scotland.
Scotland's got snow.
Don't be doing accents, Paul. You're not very good at them. That's why.
I'm not. No. They all tend to end up being the same thing after about 20 seconds.
Well, I must admit, whenever I do an accent, it slowly migrates to Jamaica. Usually. Hello, Tony, Alexis. The Veranda Files, Donna, Sally, Trandans. Lindsay. Welcome to the show. It's Sunday morning. There are 42 people with us now. Say hello, get that out of the way now.
Hello. Can you reach your coffee?
I can reach my coffee. I've got arms. That's what they're there for, Paul.
But it's sort of between the camera legs and things. That's why
don't worry, I can dip down.
See, Sherry loves the Scottish accent.
Paul, you've just alienated huge swathe of people.
Oh, dear.
Good morning, Vivi.
Do you think once Scotland becomes its own, well, it is its own country, but completely independent, we'll need a special broadcasting to broadcast there?
No. Don't be ridiculous, Paul.
No.
So good morning, Lucy.
Gosh, Illinois.
Morning, Debbie. We're just getting the hellos out of the way and then we can start properly.
A wee bit Mel Gibson in Braveheart, yeah. Who was it? Brad Pitt in the Fight Club.
I've never seen Braveheart and I've never seen Fight Club. They're both movies that I wouldn't enjoy.
I've seen the bit about accents. So I've seen his accent. I've heard his accent, and I've heard Brad Pitt's accent, Irish accent. Irish.
I think
where he was in Ireland, I don't know.
Yeah, shush now, Paul. God, going on and on and on as usual, without me hearing a word. It's just hoots and clicks. That's it. So I think it's criminal when they make a movie and they spend millions of dollars or pounds or whatever currency they're using, and the actors who are meant to be, high up in their game, whatever the expression is. What's the expression?
A professional.
The top of their game. And they can't even get the bloody accent right. They've got voice coaches.
I think sometimes though they tend to go down the rabbit hole and they go for a really niche accent.
But yet, when it comes to getting buff for a role, you know, to look all super duper for a superhero role, they spend months in the gym beefing themselves up for the sex appeal side of things. Yet they can't even get the bloody accent right, really. Let's start the show, Paul. Come
Maybe
on.
I should do that for a week at the plot.
What, get buff? Paul?
Get buff and do sort of sexy allotmenteering.
No, people have tried that before. It just doesn't work.
Oh, right.
Allotmenteering's all about the gardening, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Although there are a few I've seen over the years that tend to get their clothes off. I find it rather distasteful, personally.
Do you?
Yes, I do. It's like Naked Gardening Day. Ooh, nobody wants to see your wobbly bits in the garden. Thank you.
Well, they might not be wobbly.
Well, in my experience, most people are.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm certainly wobbly.
Yeah.
Paul, you're wobbly.
I'm wobbly.
We're wobbly.
Yeah.
Join the wobbly club.
I'm less jubbly wobbly than I was, but I'm still jubbly wobbly.
Jobbly wobbly.
I'm jubbly wobbly rather than jubbly wobbly.
Oh, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul,
Yeah.
shush now. So welcome to the show, all 64 of you.
What was that comment there? Oh,
What
no,
are
we
you
can't
doing
see
now?
it.
Press the comment box.
Oh, the comment box. Oh, I didn't know what I was doing.
There we are, Paul.
Stevie Weavy's got his own vegetable counter in Asda as his allotment. I like that.
That's my kind of allotment.
Yeah.
I have to say. Yeah, leave it now. Stop fiddling with
Well,
things.
it came up
Paul.
with messages and
stop fiddling with the system. You see, you've hidden all the comments
Why have I
now.
hidden the comments?
Top chat.
Top chat.
Just leave it at that.
But
Thank you
what's top
very
chat?
much. Soaps, I agree, Anita, especially EastEnders. When I turn that on by accident, because I don't watch it.
When do you ever touch the television control?
Occasionally when you're out at the plot, because I don't know how to work these things. All I hear is, that's what I hear. It's like some kind of strange language.
I think that is how they do in EastEnders. I think it is just that.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get on with the show. Welcome. Thank you for tuning into
Sunday Chat.
Paul almost forgot what the show was called then. You can tell how busy we've been. It's crazy house here.
I was reading about Caroline suggesting I hide my wobbly bits behind a spade.
There's no spade large enough to do that.
Maybe a tipper truck. Maybe that would be. I could just put my head at the top of the tipper truck and then do that with my hands.
No,
and you see my hands at the side.
It's called a caftan, Paul.
Yeah, that's true.
Really?
Yeah.
So let's get on with the show, Paul. Welcome everybody all around the world.
Yeah.
For tuning in.
It is all around the world.
It is a truly universal show. Let's start off with Richard and Paul's weather report. Paul, Papa, what has the weather been like this week? Well, thank you for asking. It's been crazy.
It has. We have had glorious sunshine at points where I have been at the plot just in 2 t-shirts again. Well, and things down below as well. And then one day we had thunder, lightning and a hailstorm.
Yeah, but you weren't at the plot for that.
No.
You were at home. It was lunchtime.
One day.
It was lunchtime. I was at home.
Yeah.
Cleaning my teeth, as one does after one's lunch. And I just heard this noise, this sudden clattering. I had a massive hailstorm, big hailstones. Paul, people are watching on video.
Yeah. I was showing the size of the hailstones.
You don't need to mime everything. People are listening and watching. They understand. People have seen hail.
But it was big hail.
Big hail. And it was so forceful and at an angle that it produced a drift up to the front door. Paul had to take me back to work in the car.
Well, no, I didn't have to.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't have to. I suggested I did in case you get wet.
Well, it was a very kind suggestion, as one didn't want to spend one's afternoon soaking wet at work.
Absolutely.
There's nothing worse than sitting at work in wet clothes.
I think that must be the shortest round trip I have done for years.
So it's been a mixture of weather this
You
week.
just ignore it.
Yeah, well, I do most of the time, really. I'm quite well practiced at that. It's been a mixture of weather. We've had sunny periods, hail, rain. It's been very wet.
Yeah.
Very, very wet, which is a pain in the backside at the moment because I'm painting and it takes ages for paint to dry. It's a real pain. I'm sort of similar to Vivi's situation at the moment. You might have seen Vivi posting on her Facebook that she's in the process of preparing her home for sale as we are. So we totally understand the fact that the minute you clear a room out, another room becomes full of stuff. It's like I said last week, it's like a giant game of Tetris in the house, simply moving things around. This room is the only room that we insist nothing gets stored in. So it remains an oasis of calm.
Yeah.
Doesn't it, Paul?
Generally.
Yes,
Generally.
it does.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So this week, weather-wise, cold again. As you can see, I'm wearing my little hoodie. Well, it's rather big, actually.
And it's not an hoodie.
Well, it's a knockoff.
Knockoff hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, you can tell it's a knockoff because it's splitting in several places.
Oh, no, is it?
I'll have to do some repairs.
I can see
I'll have
on
to
the
get
cuff.
I'll have to get Janome out. Well, actually, that was my fault because I bit it.
Why did you bite your cuff?
Well, something was happening and I had my hands full, and for some reason I had to pull my cuff back. You know, I think I was painting or something, and I had to pull my cuff, and the only thing I had was my mouth, and actually I managed to rip it.
Yeah,
I know,
can see
it was
that.
a bit silly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't do that, boys and girls.
No.
So, how much have you missed? Not a lot, MG. Don't worry. We're just starting off. So it's been, changeable week weather-wise. Changeable. Changeable.
And the next couple of days are going to be cold. So it's colder up north at the moment, or further north than we are at least, but that cold is coming down today. And I think it's going to be 1 degree overnight tonight, maybe 2 degrees tomorrow night. And then hopefully, the temperatures will then start rising as they should, because it does feel odd this spring.
Hi, Mary. Welcome. Hi, Brian. Hi, Lynn. Thank you. So you're also decorating, Sarah, and ready to spruce up for the summer. Yeah, and at the moment, so let's sort of backtrack and go over the week. What's been happening this week, Paul? Well, decorating, more giving away.
Yeah, we still got some more to do. There's a mandolin going today, a slicing mandolin, not a plain mandolin. My 64 bottle wine rack, that is going to be going because we drink so little these days that there's no point in having it. Very often it's got sort of like mayonnaise and honey in it, and it doesn't need that. So that's going. The shelving, we took some shelving down. I think we should be keeping that.
Well, it depends. So, overview of the week. I finished off the dressing room, decorating it. There were a few issues. And for those of you who might have seen the dressing room over the years, I think I've shown it in a couple of videos, we had a lot of rack shelving, which is fixed to the wall by a sort of rack that goes along the wall, and then the racks fit on these, what are they called? Brackets. Yeah, there's sort of racks that hang from that top bracket, and the racks clip on. It's called Elfa. It's a Swedish system.
And it's done us well for many a year.
It's done us really well, but I decided to do the painting and noticed that some of it was coming out of the wall, So I decided to remove it. And it's a good job I did, because I discovered on doing this that the wall plugs, or rawl plugs as they're called, had disintegrated in the wall.
Mm.
And so were coming loose. So I decided to remove that and put up my trusty old IKEA wooden clothes rack in its place. So that's finished now. The dressing room is finished, tidy and clear. But we have a lot of these rack shelves that we're not going to use. So it's either find a place for them, which I think we might be able to,
Yeah.
and take them to the next place for use there.
Yeah.
So dressing room is done. Then I moved on to the downstairs loo, which I'm currently painting. And it's a tiny space. But I very often find the tinier spaces are the worst, because you've got fiddly corners. And also, in those of you who've got old homes, you will know that very often the pipe work in old homes is very often visible. It's not enclosed like a lot of new buildings. So there are pipes that need to be painted. I like pipes that are either painted or restored back to copper. I couldn't be bothered restoring ours back to copper, so I just paint them. And they sort of fade into the wall, which is good. So I'm painting pipes and cutting in. I did prep yesterday. Spent half the day doing prep, filling a few cracks and sanding down stuff, sanding the paintwork, the woodwork down to provide a key for the new coat of paint. So yeah, it's busy, busy, busy.
And you did the ceiling in the hallway.
I did the ceiling in the hallway yesterday morning as well, because that needed a final coat. I actually was painting the hallway last when my dad died. In fact, I was in the middle of painting when I got the phone call to say that he died. So I sort of finished what I was doing and then didn't get round to doing a second coat on the ceiling. So I did that yesterday.
With the wrong paint.
Yeah.
I thought I'd help out and get home base, pure, brilliant white paint, matte,
which is
to
what
help
I
you
asked,
out.
Which is what I asked for, but you bought tough and durable matte. Now, tough and durable matte has an ingredient in it, which means it doesn't dry completely flat matte. Certainly not what I would call flat matte, which is almost like a chalky finish. So it's not as good as I'd like. Whether I'll do another coat, I don't know. I might do. It doesn't take very long. So yeah, and also yesterday we had help. I don't know whether you remember last week we were talking about the bathroom sink, which I plumbed in about 10 years ago, but I couldn't quite remember how I'd managed to do it. But I was getting a little bit nervous about, taking the pipes off and all of that. So we actually got help from a plot neighbour, Jeremy. He came over yesterday and said, "Oh, I can do that for you." And he basically took the old tap off and helped me take off the old sink so I can reattach a new tap, clean the area up. So that's a big job done by Jeremy, which I'm just so grateful for that. I really am. It was.
And he's doing a little platform or something for the
Yeah,
tap.
we had a leak basically, and the tap had leaked onto the surface by the sink. So it had sort of ruined a few tiles, but actually once the sink has come off, we can see the area. All it needs is a good clean up, a regrout, new tap fixing, and the sink fixing back in. So it's absolutely brilliant. He's such a capable guy. He strikes me, I don't really know him very well, but he strikes me as one of those men who has absolutely no fear whatsoever at doing something. You say he built his...
They built their house.
Yeah.
So that they They live down the road, very close to the allotment. I pass it each time I go. You pass
I
it going
pass
to
their
work.
home every day.
And they built an extension many years ago, and they rent out the front of the house, and they live in the back of the house. Fabulous garden. It's one of those really odd gardens in London that sort of dog legs around. It's really great. So yeah, and he's excellent. You know, he does so much at the allotment. Really does. Yeah.
Well, I know Izzy, but the thing is, I believe in leaving a home in a workable state that looks clean and fresh, so that there isn't a huge amount that I'm doing. I'm not doing any more major decorating at all.
No.
It's just repairs that need to be done, so things are in a working state, and there's only a couple of those things to do. I managed to fix our cistern on the downstairs loo, which one of the screws that holds it onto the wall had come away because it had actually rusted. So I managed to fix that back onto the wall yesterday by drilling a new hole in the cistern top. It's an old plastic cistern, and fix that back onto the wall, which I was so pleased about, which was just, it was a quick job and it worked. It actually worked, you know.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing I'm good at is making a space look spacious, comfortable, and clean. So those things don't worry me at all. So I'm going to be concentrating on that. And actually, if I can get the downstairs loo done this morning and finished, which I can maybe just about do, I'm going to be starting the moving around of furniture to make the place look a little bit more spacious and lighter and airier. So yeah.
And
so
that's what you've done with the downstairs loo. So the downstairs loo was a lovely sort of quiet colour. I call it quite a calm colour. And you've painted it white this time, so it looks bright and clean, which is really, you know, it's freshened it up.
Yeah.
So there's a sort of mix in the house, isn't there? There's sort of some white, and then there's sort of
it's
bits
white,
of colour
white,
as well.
grey and beige, basically. It's all those neutral colours. So I think Vivi was asking, are we taking our stove? No, we're not. No, we're leaving the cooker.
I mean,
I've never liked it, to be honest.
It was one of those purchases that I wanted, because we did a lot of cooking. I did a lot of cooking particularly. I wanted something that had more than 4 burners and had a fast burner. But actually, the problem with a lot of stoves is that unless you have a separate gas supply going to your fast burner, it's not pushing any more gas through your fast burner than it is through the other burners. So actually, that fast burner that looks like a fast burner isn't one. And we also had, it's a 3 oven. So it's got a grill, it's got an oven, it's got a tall oven as well. And the oven door one of the oven doors, the tall one, never fitted that great. We would put the oven on and the door would buckle, and we got some money back because of it. And in fact, it works perfectly, but it's not been the stove that I wanted.
And I think also when selling a home, I think there's a good energy around leaving it in a good condition. Because, you know, when we moved in here, there were several things that were really wrong, you know, that we would have changed in our home. For example, the bathroom sink had a leak.
Yeah.
And we didn't know about it. And it was leaking over time, and we just had no clue. There were a good example as well. There were polystyrene tiles on the ceiling in here and the hallway. Now, polystyrene tiles are bloody dangerous if you have a fire. They melt, you know, and they're combustible. So, you know, we did things like removing them. There were dado rails everywhere. Everywhere.
You didn't call them dado rails, though.
Well, I used to call them dildo rails, just as a joke. But they were everywhere. absolutely everywhere they could stick a dado rail, they did. Well, actually, the lower ones are called furniture rails.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
higher ones that are dado rails, isn't it? And they were there to stop furniture hitting walls,
Yeah.
which, you know, is a good idea, but horrible, because what had also happened is they'd done separate wallpaper beneath the furniture rail and a different design above. So the owners of the house at the time were very clear and said, we're not going to be making this place look neutral before we leave. And it's like, well, no, because you're selling it already. You should have done that before. So I think having a neutral color scheme that's clean, things that work, that somebody can move in and use straight away without having to worry, gives a good, it's karma, isn't it, at the end of the day? Because I'd hate to leave this place and for the bad feelings to be aimed at us. Not that I really believe in that much, but you don't want people sort of thinking, God, what awful people for leaving this home in such a state. Is a fireplace a must-have for your new home? Well, I think it's a contentious issue at the moment, isn't it?
I think a fireplace would be lovely. Is it an essential on the tick list? No.
I would like a wood burner. Rural areas, the rules are different.
Yeah, they are, but
cities.
But the thing is, a wood burner you could put in.
Yeah, it wouldn't be make or break.
So no,
it wouldn't be make or break.
Exactly.
Swipe up. That's it.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, and the thing is, Donna, that there were different. The hallway was a different color to the middle room, which was a different color to the back room.
Every room was a different color.
The carpets were a different color.
Every room.
So there wasn't a flow. But you know what? We came in, we saw the house. I mean, we were saying this to a friend last night, weren't we? About when you go into a home that you're potentially going to, when you're looking for a home, you go in some places and there's no feeling whatsoever. When we walked in here, we immediately felt this could be our home, even though there was so many things about it which were not how we would want them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not criticizing people for having different wallpapers and different carpets and stuff like that. You do what you want.
Absolutely.
But we like a sort of feeling of continuity in a home, and a feeling of flow, but also a feeling of coziness as well. And this house is a quirky house. It does have a feeling that it sort of wraps itself around you as you walk in. It does have a homely feel. You shut the door and you feel secure. And it also has a spacious feel to it as well. And I think we're really lucky to have been able to have bought this home, because it will appeal to quite a large number of buyers.
Yeah. We hope so.
Well, you were talking, Paul had a conversation with the estate agent yesterday just by chance because you met him in the street.
Yeah, he was parking his car. He just parked his car and we said hello and then had a sort of 10-minute chat.
He's a local estate agent who has sold a lot of homes in Hanwell over a long period of time. So he knows the market really well. And we'd noticed a couple of weeks ago that another villa, because we're a villa, another villa round the corner, which isn't detached.
Used to be.
It looks as though it was at one point.
Well, it was.
Because it's a separate dwelling, isn't it? But it's actually I think they call it link detached. That went on the market and sold within a week.
Yeah.
And actually needs a huge amount of work doing to it. So somebody coming in here doesn't need to do a huge amount of work straight away. I'm sure they will gut it, because that's what happens to these houses by the younger owners very often. So we're hopeful that we won't have a problem selling it. I think that kind of gave you a bit of, it helped allay some of your fears.
Yeah, I mean, I have huge anxiety about the fact that we need to move by August, preferably. And I've been itching to move for over a year now. So I've got quite a lot of anxiety over the whole thing, which I'm sort of keeping in. Um, and dealing with, so but sometimes it sort of overwhelms me. It does. It's what happens with anxiety. Sometimes you literally want to just crawl up on the sofa and cry, and I have done that a couple of times, and I'm not ashamed to say that either. That's absolutely fine. And then you sort of like get up, dry your tears, go to the loo, wash your face, and then get on with things.
And then shout at Richard.
And then shout, "It's all your fault."
All my fault.
Yeah. But yeah, so and of course, and there's a huge amount of anxiety around moving house anyway. So yeah.
Happy birthday, Steve. Happy
Yes.
birthday, 51st birthday, you little baby.
Of course, I remember being 51.
Yes.
And you don't, do you?
No, I've never been 51. I'm 39. Yeah, you see, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I have absolute zero anxiety around selling the property. My anxieties are around dealing with repairs.
Yeah.
The anxiety around, doing any kind of plumbing is huge. And I get, what happens to me is I want to go out into the street and just run and keep on running and not look back. That's how anxiety grabs me. And I remember having that as a child,
Mm-hmm.
And having dreams about running away from things.
I mean, that's really been the sink issue, hasn't it?
Oh, gosh.
Because Richards has so much anxiety around that sink that literally when Jeremy and his wife Katrina came yesterday and looked at it.
I could have killed you yesterday.
Why?
Well, I heard the door go and Paul said that, Paul came in and said, "Jeremy's coming." And I went, okay. I didn't realise that Jeremy's wife would be with him. And I have anxiety, believe it or not, around anybody coming to the house if the house is a mess.
Yeah, he does.
Real anxiety. If somebody comes to our house, the house has to be tidy and clean and straight. I don't know why I have anxiety around it. I don't think it's to do with maybe it is to being judged by people.
I think it most probably is. Yeah.
And I was in the downstairs loo, and I remember thinking, oh my God, there are people in my house. And I literally have to go and put a smile on, put happy face on, and start cracking jokes around the house being a mess. That's my default setting, to start being a clown, to cover that up. And but actually it was great. And afterwards I had a rush of
you were euphoric almost.
I was pacing because I was, it's like the adrenaline had come up. And then of course 10-15 minutes later you have the crash, after the adrenaline. So
but you now when you think about the sink and the work that needs to be done just to complete that, it's not as bad, is it?
No.
That's
so it has removed a huge ball of anxiety that's been in my body. It actually came out as a spot the other day.
It did, yeah. I didn't comment on it. No,
thank you.
No, each time I went to give, because we give each other a kiss when we say goodbye in the morning. So when he goes to work, we give each other a kiss. And I went in to give him a kiss, and I saw this huge carbuncle of a spot on his face.
I saw you recoil in horror.
And I thought, no, get over it, Paul. Get over it, Paul.
That's what happens. Anxiety and stress come out in other ways.
It does. Absolutely.
And also with me, to be brutally frank, it comes out in bowel issues as well.
Yes, I've
The
noticed that
the
as
other
well.
day, do you remember when we were dealing with something? I can't remember what it was, and suddenly I got really gassy, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah,
And it was like, this is really affecting me. So people say, things like, well, you need to manage your stress and breathe and all of that. It don't make any difference to me. Yeah, it's the whole mess thing. Um, it's for me. It's my stuff. I like a feeling of a tidy house. If there's too much mess for too long, I have to start clearing it, or at least tidying it into boxes or containing it in some way. If something is contained, and you've heard me say this before, in a cupboard or behind a curtain, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I'm getting to the stage where I don't want that anymore. I want clarity with the stuff that we've got. And this big clear out has really we've really gained clarity with the stuff that we own. The stuff that has gone, we've said goodbye. Another 3 bags of clothes, by the way, went during the week, didn't they? They got collected. So yeah, we did another clothing clear out. Super.
It's so yeah, the week has just continued in the same vein. In fact, even a greater pace than previous weeks, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, and it kind of feels good. It also feels tiring. I fitted work in this week because I had Monday and Tuesday off, which was dressing room work. And then went back to work on Wednesday. And work has been busy as well. It's rather exhausting, but has to be done. Need the money. So it's all go. It's all go. And the stage that I like, and I was talking about this a few moments ago, the stage that I really enjoy and that doesn't worry me at all is the moving round of furniture. I actually love it, and I can do it on my own. I've really got it down to a fine art.
Yeah, you have, haven't you? Even the really heavy stuff.
Yeah, I can move big heavy cupboards. They're all on felt pads. All of our big furniture is on felt pads. So it actually slides across the floor really easily. You can push it bit by bit. Sofas, I know exactly how to move a sofa. You tip it up end and maneuver it through the doorways, easy peasy. And I love walking around and deciding where things are going to go. So I plan it all in my head first, and then it's fixed, and I start moving things. And I usually get it right in one go.
Yeah.
So there will be some furniture moving, hopefully this afternoon. Yay, can't wait. And if we get rid of that wine rack, that creates another little bit of space, not to fill, but to leave. And, this is one thing I would say to you in terms of staging your home. Don't be quick to fill space. Sometimes leaving a wall and a floor completely blank and open is a great thing to do because it just gives that extra feeling of depth in a room.
Yeah.
And also allows other people who like filling spaces to visualize where their stuff can go.
Yeah. I mean, we took a couple of weeks ago, we took the bed, we had a single bed in our dressing room, and we would sort of put clothes on it and sit on it, put your clothes on, that type of thing. And we got rid of it a few weeks ago. And I mean, Vivi will understand this because she's seen that space anyway, though she usually sleeps upstairs. But that room now, it looked like a small single before. Now it looks very much a double room.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, because the way that Richard has done the hanging of the clothes, you can see that there's space behind the frame, if you like, that the clothes hang on.
It's a double room. It will fit a
Yeah.
double bed. So, you know, even though it would be classed as a single room, it can fit, believe it or not, a double bed and 2 IKEA wardrobes.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had in there when we first moved in.
Did we have the futon in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a guest room and a dressing room. So, you know, people need to be able to see, and not everybody is good at visualizing stuff. So you have to help people do that. And also it's about drawing the focus to the positive things about the space. So if the space has got a really nice wooden floor, make sure people can see some of that wood, you know, people can visualize, and oh, that's got a nice stripped pine floor, clean walls, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, that part is the fun part, the staging part.
I mean, Katrina said yesterday, "Oh, I love your rugs and I love the wooden floor and how they sit and how the furniture sits on it." So,
yeah, you can see the floor.
Well done, baby.
Well, you know, those are my strengths.
Yeah,
those are my strengths.
Yeah.
So there's been a few comments going past. I've missed a few of these. Let me just have a little look. Have we been to Kew recently? No, we haven't.
I think once the house is on the market, there are things that we want to do, like go to Kew, go out a little bit more, go and see mum, those type of things.
Yeah.
And of course, hopefully by then, by the time the house is on the market and after Easter, will your other person have started?
Well, I hope so. I'll hopefully be back to part-time at work, so we'll have time to, you know, take a few breaks. But at the moment, it's just, I don't know about you, but I'm probably a little bit obsessive, to be honest. Once I get going with something, I find I have to focus on it, and the only real breaks I get are sitting down in the evening, and very often that's enough, to be honest. A couple of people have mentioned hoarding. Yeah, I think we probably have hoarder tendencies, but it's never got to the stage where things have invaded our living space.
I think there is a thing though that will keep that for use later on, you know, and we have done that with a few things, even in this clearing. So the racks that we were talking about upstairs, the shelving. I think it's sensible to keep those because they're really good. But in a week's time, we might think, actually, you know what? Let them go. Yeah. And I think it's important that as you go through this process, I think that feeling of letting things go becomes relatively easy, you know, and you keep those things that you're passionate about. And I was talking to Vivi this week, and we touched on the last visit that we had to Mum's apartment, and the fact that in that visit I was going to be packing up a whole load of glasses and a whole load of, well, not a whole load, a few 6 glasses and various other bits and pieces. And then when I was thinking about it and we were sort of getting ready to come back, I just brought the tea caddy, the glass tea caddy with a lid that Mum and Dad were given. They've had all of their lives as their tea caddy, because that tea caddy actually means a lot to me. It's something that my mum and dad used all of their married lives, you know, and there's a chip in it, and that chip there's a tiny little chip in it, and that chip in it, I remember when that chip happened, it was Dad, and Dad chipped it, and he sort of said, "Oh, I need to tell your mum that I've chipped the caddy," and I went, "Well, I wouldn't worry about that," and of course there was no need to worry about it. So that just one single item has so many memories. However, in clearing out that other box from a neighbour a week ago, we found this enormous glass fruit bowl that my mum and dad were given on their wedding day. and it's about 18 inches across. It's a huge fruit bowl, and that has a whole load of memories because that was our fruit bowl for decades. Certainly, I think Mum and Dad used it for the first 30 years of my life, and they'd had it since they were married. And I remember sort of at Christmas, it would stop being a fruit bowl, it would become a satsuma and nuts bowl. The fruit would find a different home.
It would also make a good
Satsumas and
trifle
nuts.
bowl as well.
Can you imagine a
Make an
trifle in that
enormous
bowl?
trifle.
Just big enough for two, I think.
Trifle. I want trifle now.
Oh, we do like a good trifle.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Especially with a little bit of sherry in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was thinking as you were talking then, I was thinking, no, Sarah, we won't. We will be leaving the property for when viewings happen. We'll be going round the block or, yeah. What was I going to say? Okay, I was thinking, do you remember the time when, well, I remember the time when everything I owned fitted into my car.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a few bags of clothes and a stereo and something else. What are you doing, Paul? Fiddling with everything.
Seem to be coming
Swipe
up.
up.
Oh, swipe up. I'm doing the wrong thing.
Well, you've ruined it now. Honestly, Paul.
There, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just leave it now.
Yeah.
God, calm down, Paul. You're out of control. Yeah. How is healthy eating going? Well, we're on exactly the same regime. Yeah, we're still eating very, very well. I've noticed, Paul, the portion last night was rather large.
Yeah. And need to sort of look at that. I know I put on half a pound. I weighed myself this morning. Yeah. We're still doing fine. So not losing weight at the moment, but
maintaining.
Yeah.
Maintaining.
And I found through my weight loss journey over the last 47 years or so, there's always been, when I've been sort of being successful, there's always been a plateau, and I think I'm in that plateau at the moment. But the thing is to make sure portions don't creep up in size, and to make sure that my mental health stays right in not getting too tied up about that plateau.
I think also it's about breaking that that feeling around a big portion. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm served a large portion of food, my first thought is, yum. That's my first, you look at it and it's like, ooh, yes. Do you know what I mean? And actually the thinking should be, ooh, that's a little bit too much for me.
And also, and this is, I was talking to Vivi about this the other day or the other week. Vivi uses those sort of takeaway plastic containers, and they're perfect for 2 portions for us. And in the last couple of days, the ones that we have got are not those. They're in a different Tupperware. So the portion has been larger. So I need to ask people at the plot if they're getting those 500ml or 600ml takeaway things, so that we could have a few more.
And I think also the key is as well is to not blame the Tupperware.
No,
Paul,
no, absolutely.
Don't blame the Tupperware.
I could have kept some, because we have done this sort of all of our lives. If there's some bolognese left over or some curry or something like that, but it's not big enough for a portion, we keep it to one side and put it in soup. And I must go back to doing that.
Yes, James, we've used Swiss roll to make a trifle.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, gorgeous.
Co-op raspberry Swiss roll with jelly and with custard. Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. Oh, don't. Yes, Stevie, losing weight is trickier as we get older, but you know what? I'd got to a stage where I was looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, well, you're old and fat now, well, whatever. And I was kind of going through this phase of accepting that. And it was only until Paul said, well, I'm going back on Weight Watchers. This is how we're going to eat. We're going to follow portion control, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. And then within a couple of months, about 3 months maybe, the weight was dropping off. And I thought, wow, I can fit into my old trousers. So actually that surprised me at how easy it was. And actually, it didn't feel as though we were being deprived. It felt as though we were still eating a good amount. But the split between salad and the main meal was different. So, you know, rather than a full plate of lasagna, half each, it was a portion of lasagna and a salad. So, you know, it's kind of that different way of eating more salad, eating more vegetables, increasing the good things that don't have the calories, and just cutting down on the things that do. So,
and I think also I think it also helps having whole wheat pasta and brown rice. You know, I do think that helps, and we have a lot fewer potatoes than we used to, and bread.
Hardly any bread. We had pita bread this morning with scrambled eggs for breakfast.
So those of you who are on Planet Vegetaria, if you saw my week at the plot yesterday, we were given eggs by our plot neighbours, and we had those scrambled eggs this morning.
Lovely,
so
fresh
they
eggs.
were absolutely lovely. Yeah. Stress can also make you thin. I haven't found that, Caroline, but I know for other people that can be the case, of course.
Yeah, I think it depends on your other habits as well. I mean, for example, when I was a smoker, when I got stressed, I would smoke more and eat less, so I would lose weight. So, you know, it depends on you. It's an individual situation for everybody, isn't it?
Robin's looking for those Nutella biscuits. They were rather nice. I noticed that they're in Lidl at the moment.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't buy another packet. I didn't buy the first packet anyway.
We will definitely be doing more walking when we move. Hopefully we'll be moving to an area that has walks on the doorstep that we can discover.
Just like here.
Yeah, but here is different because walking in this area has to happen at a certain time. And also certain times of the year. For example, if you go walking down the canal on a sunny summer day, on a Sunday afternoon, it's packed. It's like a theme park.
It's like the Queen Victoria's perambulations.
And it's not, to me, that's not a particularly nice thing to do. I don't want to be walking in areas where there are loads of people. I prefer to walk through a woodland or a forest in the summer, in the shade, in the quiet. So that's why we used to choose times for walking that were outside of busy times. So a Friday would be our going out day. Friday, you know, fairly early. And could we do a live stream walk one day? Well, we could, but it would depend on
signal strength.
Internet signal strength. Yeah, wild walking, that's what we enjoy. And, you know, if you're suited and booted, got some food on you and something to drink, just go for it, you know.
Who asked about food? Sherry. Food price inflation in the UK is huge at the moment, particularly on the standard products. So on more, you know, elevated priced products, the inflation is not so high because there's margin there to be able to take up prices rising. But on basic things like basic pasta, 100%, you know, it's doubled in a year. Rice has gone up as well. I think our food inflation in the last year, just overall, a general basket, is 20%. So that's quite a lot. But as I say, for bog standard foods that many people eat, including us, the price has doubled. Certainly our pasta, we used to get 2 packets of pasta for 85p, and that was whole wheat, and that is now £1.65. So that's virtually double. So yeah,
We had a few in stock though, didn't we?
we did.
Have we not
Yeah.
got any more in stock now?
Well, none that
No.
were at those lower prices. No. I mean, I tend to, if I'm having a delivery from Morrison's, I shop at Lidl once or twice a week. I have a delivery from Morrison's maybe once a month, and I will sort of stock up on things from Morrison's that we get from Morrison's, if you see what I mean.
Hello, Mark. Welcome.
So yeah, or if something's on offer, I might buy 2 or 4, making sure that there's still plenty for other people to have. Yeah.
Lovely, Paul. Excellent.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yes. Yeah.
We've got 142 people with us. We're 55 minutes in. If you do have any further questions, get them in now. Now.
Yeah, eggs have doubled in price. I think for our sake, the eggs were two. So this is organic large. They were £2.40 for 6. They're now, no, they were 40p each, the eggs. They're now 70p each.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's because the food that the chickens get fed has gone up, because they're from a very, very local supplier. They only supply for our sake, and their costs have gone up significantly with food, with feeding the chickens. Yeah. $4.99. Yeah, sort of. I think in somewhere like Marks and Spencer's, I saw £4.35 for 6 large eggs. Yeah.
How long do fresh potatoes last beyond their sell-by date?
Oh,
potatoes have a sell-by date?
Well,
they go a bit. They sort of start to go a little bit wrinkly, don't they? But we've always kept our potatoes in the fridge.
No, we keep them in the dark, not in the fridge. I will keep them in the fridge sometimes. I keep new potatoes in the fridge because I feel that they last longer in the fridge. But certainly potatoes, I mean, if you buy a bag of potatoes, it should last a month.
Depends on how long they've been in the shop, doesn't it?
Yeah, but they usually, because of the rotation of vegetables in shops, it's that they're not usually stored. You'll have apples and pears which have been stored for months. Potatoes, they put them into cold storage, so when they come out they do need to be eaten, but very often it says like 3 or 4 days. Usually a month will suffice.
But of course what you could do is make them into mash and then freeze the mash.
You can do, though. There are some potato, again, it's about the what the potato has been grown for. So if you buy a potato that's for roasting or for frying, making chips, that's got a much percentage of water in it is much lower, so they will freeze well. But if you're as mash, but if you're making mash from like new potatoes, things like that, they've got a higher water content. So if you make the mash and freeze them, that mash can come out a bit watery.
Why on earth would you make mash out of new potatoes?
Early potatoes, then.
Early potatoes.
Early. Well, you can make mash out new. You can make smashed potatoes out of new potatoes, which we have done in the past to get them nice and crispy. Yeah. But it's the same, like the
to get them crispy.
So when I went to Morrison's a few weeks ago, they had parsnips and carrots that were down from, I think, 69p a bag down to 20p a bag. And I got there were plenty, by the way, again. I got like 4 or 5 bags of each because I knew that they would last a long time. As long as you cut the top off the bag and then leave them in a dark place, they will last generally for quite a few weeks. The one thing that you need to be careful of, though, is when carrots have been overwashed, because then they can go rotten quite quickly.
So questions. So Donna, well, Paul does a sort of cooking ahead type thing. So there's always something in the freezer to eat. Would we consider raising chickens for eggs? No, no, definitely not. I don't want the responsibility of animals and the responsibility of having to take them to the vet and things like that. I don't want that responsibility at all.
Happy to help others.
Okay. Do I expose my potatoes to the light to get them to root? Is that chitting?
For chitting, Robin, yes, you can. I haven't chitted them this year. There's been various things on chit and no chit, and I think it makes hardly any difference. If you want to do it, but do make sure that they're frost free or in a frost free place.
Okay.
MJ, first time participating in live chat. Great, glad you're enjoying it.
For mash get smash.
Yeah.
For mash get smash. I just get smashed, basically.
Yeah,
I
there
used
we are.
to
Vivi
love-
says about chitting as well.
I used to love smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to get you used to get it in a packet, but you could also get it in a tin, couldn't you? Did you ever get it in a tin?
Well, I used to buy the powder.
Well,
The
yeah,
powdered
that's
version.
what
Yeah, but smash was like a granule.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Nice bit of smash to make a nice quick shepherd's pie. Lovely. So, any more questions, anybody, before we start moving on?
You was sorry, someone was asking about meal plan, which you did mention.
yeah.
But I was thinking the other day. I do this green lentil curry, which we really like. I do
Chili.
a bolognese, and I do a big bolognese, and then I make half of it into a chili, and those go as portions into the freezer. What I found that I've been doing is I've been tightening that repertoire rather than expanding the repertoire. So I was thinking yesterday as I was sitting here, oh, I must go back and think about making a few shepherd's pies and things like that. So yeah.
Lovely, Paul. Thank you for that. So, super duper.
So sincere.
I am totally sincere. Have we watched the Netflix series You?
No, we haven't, Robin. I think is there 2 or 5 series, and it's just been cancelled by Netflix. I did notice that yesterday.
No.
It came up on our list yesterday, and I thought maybe we need to start watching that. Well, not need. We don't need to start watching anything.
Yes, Tony, it did, didn't it? It was like little cube sort of shape granule things, but large. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, lovely. Good. Super duper. So, Paul, we're an hour in. It's time to talk about what we've watched on television this week.
Well, is he
Yes,
on the way home from M&S? Yeah. I wondered. I saw that you said something earlier, is he? And I couldn't find it again. Yeah.
So what have we watched on television? So we continue with Picard.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's nothing to say other than it's brilliant.
We love it.
Yeah, it's so compelling. It's so it's just great fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, great visuals, great storyline, great cliffhangers, keeps you on the edge of your seat. And yeah, it's brilliant. Mandalorian we continue with, and again, this is a quality series, you know, if you're into sci-fi. Great story. The baby little Grogu Yoda thing continues to entertain.
Yeah, always a laugh. Yeah.
And actually it's quite clever really, because it caters for such a wide audience, because of course, you know, all the kids are going to love the baby Yoda Grogu thing.
And all the older people.
And, you know, the storylines are mature enough for the older viewers to enjoy as well. The die-hard Star Wars fans who were there the first time round, which of course were terribly disappointed with a couple of the Star Wars movies because they didn't live up to the previous films. So this is kind of making up for the mistakes that Lucasfilm have made over the years. Happy Valley, we've never seen Happy Valley.
No. What else have we been watching? Oh yes, I saw that Mama's Oasis allotment. I saw that they're doing the legacy series as well, and I hope they do that. I know Seven of Nine is going to be in that if that happens, as will lots of others, which would be great. Yeah. Um,
What else
what
have we
else?
watched? Grace.
Yes, so we
Grace.
started watching Grace, which is
It's
based.
a new series.
It's a new series of Grace on ITV. It follows the Peter James books of a detective called Grace in Brighton. It's an area I know a little bit about of, Brighton and Hove, because it's where an ex-business partner, his dad and mum used to live in Hove, so we were down there quite a lot. He lived there as well. And I've always loved the Peter James books. I think these on like 16 or 17 books in the series of Grace. John Sim doesn't do Grace for me though.
Controversial.
I think a lot of the other characters, a lot of the other actors really present their characters well. But John Sim just doesn't do it. So even though it's called Grace, I don't sort of think of John Sim as Grace, because if I do think of him as Grace, I don't enjoy the series. So I just think of him as another detective, if you see what I mean. But yeah, I think worth a watch. Well written, and the books. If you like reading, the Peter James book, any Peter James book. I've been reading Peter James for 30 years. Any Peter James book is worth getting out of the library or buying if that is what you do.
Oh, thank you for the recommendation, Paul.
Oh, there we are.
Peppa Pig. I've never seen an episode of Peppa Pig.
What's Peppa Pig?
It's a program about a pig. It's a
pig
cartoon.
detective.
No, it's not a pig detective, Paul. God. No, it's a children's show.
Oh, right.
I haven't watched any children's TV for years. I think the last children's television program that I watched was In the Night Garden.
Right.
Which was adorable. Absolutely adorable. And that was when I think Sammy and Amy were kids.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Adorable show. Absolutely lovely.
I watched an episode of Bagpuss the other day on YouTube.
Did you?
Yeah.
Which one was it, Paul?
It was one where Professor Yaffle was yaffling on.
Oh, Paul, come on. Which one was it? It must have been one you must remember, because they were all classics.
Well, I got halfway through it and then you needed something.
Did the mice have to repair something?
Oh, always. Yeah, and Professor Yaffle was telling them what to do.
What was it?
I think it might have been a ballet shoe. I think it was a ballet shoe. It was a ballet shoe.
Oh, yes. Yes, I think I remember that.
But I like the start of Bagpuss. I think the start of it was always lovely when they all wake up and things.
It is lovely, isn't it? It's such a great show. We also started watching The Chair.
Yeah.
Is it a film?
It's a series.
Oh, it's a series.
TV series.
A TV series. I saw the beginning before I actually went into a coma, which is the usual way of things.
I was quite enjoying it, and I think there's a few laughs in it, so I think we're going to go back to it and see how we carry on. I think it's Netflix again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we watched the usual things: Cutie, Question Time, DD, Dragon's Den, MSW, Murder, She Wrote, R&T, Rosemary and Thyme. Yeah.
Hector's House.
Hector's House.
I loved Hector's House.
Are we going on to children's TV programs?
Oh, do you want
a little chat about old TV, children's TV?
Merry Monger and Midge.
Oh, Merry Monger and Midge. Do you remember when they used to go up the thing? The heads used to go like that, didn't it?
Yeah. And I did see, those public information films we used to get with Charlie.
I've not finished on Mary Mungo and Midge yet. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know, Mary Mungo and Midge was a sort of animated children's TV show, very simple animation. And it was actually, I think it was a bit of a groundbreaking show because it depicted city living, because Mary Mungo and Midge lived in a high-rise flat.
Yeah.
And I had to go up and down in a lift and used to play in the playground that was, in the gardens below.
Was it on the other side of the road? Didn't they have to
sort
cross
of-
the road?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think there was a bit of teaching about crossing a road or something. Yeah.
Oh, Robin, you've played The Room. Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, so that was interesting, and it was, I think, late 60s, early 70s. Mary,
Yeah.
Mongo and Midge.
I think it was early 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that kind of living had been depicted in a sort of children's TV.
No.
Because children's TV tended to be all about fantasy, didn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than reality. You know, the other thing I remembered the other day was Paper Play.
Oh, I don't remember
with
that.
Susan Stranks.
No, I don't
With
remember that.
Itsy and Bitsy.
Oh, Itsy and Bitsy. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, it was Paper Play.
Paper Play. No, I don't. I remember Itsy and Bitsy. I don't remember Paper Play.
Yeah, Itsy and Bitsy were spiders, weren't they?
Yeah.
Lovely.
And of course, Play School and the round window, the square window, and the what was it? Was it an oval window? Round, square, oval?
I can't remember, Paul.
There were three, definitely. Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
Andy Pandy.
Yeah, Andy Pandy, Willow the Wisp.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
with
Williams.
Mavis Cruitt the fairy. Yeah. Yeah, Trapdoor. Yeah, I remember Trapdoor, but that was a little bit later.
Yeah.
Trapdoor.
Was that 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember Jamie and the Magic Torch?
No.
Jamie.
No, I don't
Jamie
remember
and the
that at all.
Magic Torch. Yeah.
Oh, I sort of remember that.
He used to shine his torch on the floor and it would open up into a portal. The arched window. Thank you, Geraldine.
Arched window. That was it. Thank you.
Yeah. Jamie and the Magic Torch. Yeah. He'd open the portal and go into another land. Mr. Ben.
Oh, I loved Mr. Ben.
And he lived on what road?
Don't know.
What was the name of the road that he lived on?
Can't remember.
Can anybody remember the name of the road that Mr. Ben lived on?
I think my favourite episode was when he was an astronaut.
It was Festive Road. Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Yeah.
And of course, the Magic Roundabout.
How bizarre that he lived on a road called Festive Road. I think it was a little bit bizarre that he went into a clothes shop every week and went through a secret door to a different land. I think that was a little bit more bizarre. Don't you think?
Yeah, that is totally acceptable for me. Yeah, totally acceptable.
I'm trying to think what else. Pipkins. Do you remember Pipkins?
Yeah.
With Hartley. Hartley.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Deal the dog. Yeah.
The Herbs with Dill the dog,
Love
Parsi the
that.
lion. Yeah.
Little Britain. Yes, we remember that. Obviously not a kid show, but it hasn't aged
Picture
well.
Box.
I think that's fair to say.
Yes, I do remember Picture Box.
Puffin stuff.
Yeah, HR Puffin stuff.
No, I don't remember that. In Guernsey, we used to have a thing called Puffin's Place on ITV in Guernsey.
Was that
the Channel Islands.
Was that a special Guernsey
It was.
program?
You used to, if it was your birthday, your mum and dad would send in a card, and they would read out your card. They would show you the card. They would read out the card on Puffin's Place, and there was a puffin and a presenter. It was fabulous. Yeah, Wombles. Yeah, fantastic. And of course, Elizabeth Beresford lived on Alderney. Which was just across the water from where I grew up.
Barbara Popper.
Yeah.
With Barbara Mama.
And Barbara Papa.
Barbara Baby. Barbara Bow. Barbara Bell. They were just blobs, weren't they? It's amazing the things that they can get us to watch as children. Just blobs. Yeah. I'll never forget the first time I saw the Teletubbies. Now, look, this was back in the day, people. This was back in the day when Richard was a party boy and used to go out and party. Anyway, I'd been out partying and I don't think I'd been to bed. I think you'd gone to work. And I decided to chill out and watch a little bit of TV in the morning. And I turned the television on. And I thought, what is this? What is this? I could hear Toya's voice, Toya Wilcox's voice. And I thought, that's Toya. And then there was this sun with a baby's face in the middle. I thought, I'm clearly hallucinating here. I'm hallucinating. And then these things came on the screen. The Teletubbies. I thought I was tripping. No, I really did. I really honestly did. I thought this is some kind of flashback. So yeah, Teletubbies. That was just crazy, but groundbreaking as well, if you think about it. Because it had a whole set that was created for it. It was before, major CGI was used. Incredible, really, if you think about it. And they were the same creators that made In the Night Garden, which again was tripped out, completely tripped
Wasn't
out.
that after that?
Yeah.
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 I saw Lucy Teletubbies and it being on the Vicar of Dibley wedding. Interestingly, going back to the Magic Roundabout, I know we've said this before, but one of our or two of our friends who became friends, both actors, when they got married, they went down to the Magic Roundabout, the theme tune of the Magic Roundabout, because Sophie's dad was the voice in the Magic Roundabout, and he made up the stories. Because when the BBC, apparently, when the BBC bought the rights to a Magic Roundabout, which was a French programme, they didn't buy the storylines. So Sophie's dad created the storylines of a Magic Roundabout. So if you look at the storylines of the British episode and the French episode, exactly the same animation, the storylines are different.
Oh, Shari Lewis and Lamb Chop. Hey there, Shari.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to love lamb chop. I wanted a lamb chop.
Oh, am I your lamb chop?
No.
Oh. Oh, dear.
So, yeah, there you go.
Wurzel Gummidge is, Wurzel Gummidge, Mackenzie Crook, love it. Absolutely love it.
We were big fans of that show.
Yeah, and Detectorists, of course.
Oh, just superb.
Love it.
Superb. I do hope they bring it back.
Well, we had the Christmas special of Detectorists, didn't we?
I know, but I think it's just so good.
I think the challenge with Wurzel Gummidge is, of course, that the two children that we got to know and who grew up over the two series, was it? They're, of course, quite a bit older now, so they would need to swap the children around. So
yeah, they would.
Yeah. There we are.
Yeah,
but,
great. It's great to reminisce. We always end up doing this on our live shows, don't we?
Yeah.
Reminiscing, going down memory lane. I almost said mammary lane then. I don't know why.
That is a very different thing. We were talking about something last night. Maybe that's why.
No.
Yeah.
Captain Kangaroo, no.
Oh yeah, I remember Captain Kangaroo. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah, I remember Captain Kangaroo.
I don't think so, Paul.
I remember Captain Kangaroo.
No.
And I used to like all the sort of Top Cats and all of those as well.
Top Cats.
Which were, was it Top Cat?
Top Cat.
Top Cat.
Which was actually called Boss Cat.
Boss Cat, it? Yeah. But they thought that was a bit, so they changed it to Top.
Yeah.
But so many.
Does anybody remember Bananas in Pajamas?
Yeah.
That used to freak me out.
Yeah.
Bananas in Pajamas are coming down the stairs. I don't think they are. Not in my house.
No.
It was weird. It was freaky. Totally freaky.
Chubby Phil, so Eric Thompson.
That's
so
it.
we know
That's the one.
we know Sophie.
We are friends with that family.
Yeah.
So what were we talking? It was to do with breasts, Craig.
Yeah.
We were out to dinner and a subject came up.
Yeah.
And it was to do with breasts. But we're not going to repeat the conversation here. Double deckers, Gillian. I remember the double deckers. Oh my goodness me.
And Caroline mentioned the double deckers earlier as well.
Oh, did you, Caroline? Yeah, I loved the double deckers.
And somebody mentioned, what was the show on the other channel?
Bye, Vivi. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Vivi.
Have a good day.
Hopefully see you soon.
I know you're going to be working hard.
Mickey Mouse Club. There was a Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah. What was the other thing?
Yeah, we did have Mickey Mouse Club.
Somebody mentioned it earlier. Not how. it was the other one.
Magpie.
Switch off your television set.
Why don't you?
Why don't you?
Why don't you?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what we were. That's Love those. Love those.
Yeah.
And they're available on YouTube as well. Double Decker, certainly.
The other one I remember is Wait Till Your Father Gets Home.
Oh yeah.
That was ahead of its time.
Was that the first sort of major American cartoon family show that came over?
Well, it was pitched just before.
Hanna-Barbera.
I'm not sure. Possibly, I would have thought so, but it was pitched. I think it was just before the evening news.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? So it was quite a good slot that they had, and it was brilliant.
Was it ITV?
No, it was BBC. BBC.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah.
There we are. Well,
yeah, lovely.
We better make a move. We've got things to do. People to see. Rent a ghost.
Why do we sometimes say bananas? So we did a thing a few years ago where we wanted to see how many people watched Sunday Chat until the end.
Sunday Chat!
All right. We wanted to see how many people watched to the end. So we used the word bananas, didn't we?
Yeah. I said bananas, I think. And if
That
you
was
have watched
why.
to the end, say bananas and then we'll know.
Yeah.
And we were surprised how many people did. And it's been a off and on thing since.
YouTube gives you a metric, a figure that tells you how long people have watched for and whether or not views trail off towards the end. So it gives you an idea of
which
whether
they generally do.
It gives you an idea of whether your videos are too long. I mean, ours are kind of organic. We just go for as long as we need to go for, and that's it. So yeah, it was kind of spawned from there. No, Gillian, the lives are actually quite convenient for us because if we record, we've got to record it, we've then got to edit it, and then we've got to upload it. Whereas this, we're doing it all in one, it uploads.
Automatically, once this finishes, it uploads it.
Yeah, we don't need to edit, we don't need to watch it again. So it's actually better for us at the moment. So, it works.
Hi, Tango Cat. You've come in just at the time we've been talking about Top Cat. So there we are, yeah.
Good. I'm glad you enjoy it, Sherry. Thank you.
I think multiple streams, I think, is maybe the wrong word, Farmer Jones, but ripples and rivulets, maybe.
Yeah,
but
Well, let's talk briefly about the myth that people earn a lot of money on YouTube. I can honestly tell you that we don't. We earn a small amount of money per month, which just about pays a bill.
Doesn't quite pay our energy bill.
But the reason, okay, so let's sort of rewind. The reason we started our YouTube channel was when I was about to go part-time and we needed to think of a way of potentially earning a little bit of money to make up the shortfall for losing that time, that work money. So I opened a channel just for fun. And we thought, let's combine it. Let's both do videos and see how far we can take it. There was never any ambition to become big, famous YouTubers. And it grew organically. And we've got to the stage where we're earning a little bit of cash from it. But it really isn't that much. You have to have a really big channel and a lot of views to earn anything near like a livable wage from YouTube. So and it takes a huge amount of time to get to this stage that we're at without being sensational.
Interestingly, I was just going to mention that because with us, we are what you get. Sometimes there's a little bit of elevation of things, but actually we are what you get. And that's the same with Jane and with Vivi, there are other YouTubers, and we've been asked to participate with a number of other YouTubers. And on one call with another YouTuber, we found the person to be quite condescending about their subscribers, and we have never then, after that conversation where this person was bigging us up and blah blah blah, and we sort of thought, actually, this isn't somebody we would want to. We will, we'll always be, nice to people, but it's not somebody that we want to collaborate with, and that's yeah. I think you need to make sure that what you do is what you are, or you go the other way and you become much more sensationalist. But that's why I love Jane, that's why I love Vivi, because they are what they are.
At the end of the day,
and others too. I'm not saying just Jane and Vivi.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're here. I mean, it's a document of our lives, and we're choosing to share it publicly. It's kind of like having a diary that you do weekly. And, it's kind of fun for us. And somebody's just mentioned an online community. It is because, we're kind of sharing stuff in terms of providing a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of light relief for people. People are connecting with each other through the channel. So it works on different levels, and at the end of the day, it's a bit of time out for us to share what's been going on. And also, in terms of diarising stuff and journaling, it's quite cathartic to sort of reflect on the week that has been. Because very often in life, we just move forwards without reflecting at all. We're not the kind of people that reflect too much about what's happened in the past week, but this is like a marker. It's a marker at the end of the week. That week has been, we've done this, we've done that. You can kind of count your achievements and reflect on what you've achieved and what you've managed to do, despite everything that's going on at the moment. So it's kind of quite healthy to do that. And if you can share that, provide a little bit of lightness for people and a bit of fun, then that's a good thing, Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Alexis, thanks so much for your comment, and I hope that you can sort of get through. I mean, sometimes people have got chronic health problems and they're going to have them for life, and I know Mum's mobility and the pain she has in her legs, it can be managed, but it'll never ever go. And Mark, Naked Sunday Chat.
That ain't never going to happen.
That would be on OnlyFans. That would be on our OnlyFans side of things, and would be an awful lot of money. And as we don't have an OnlyFans, it's just not going to happen. No.
Well, it's interesting, Farmer Jones, because you're committing. It's like when you do any kind of recording, that you're going to keep. You're committing to something. You're putting it down on tape, so to speak. Of course, in these days, putting it down onto a computer database somewhere in America or Ireland or wherever it is. But I think it's that sort of journaling. I mean, not that we go back and watch old Sunday chats. We don't do that. But other people have, and other people have caught up and, gone back through the channel and rewatch. So it's just a way of marking time. It's another way of journaling. And like I said earlier, earning a little bit of money to do it. But it certainly is not a well-paid job. Somebody asked a question about do the lives earn less? I think they earn slightly less. Quite a few people watch the replay. We do monetize it. In order to earn anything like a proper wage, we would probably need to be making 5 videos a week. And they would all need to have very good viewing figures.
Yeah, I mean, we make 2, I think we need to make on our earnings with the number of people who watch it, most of we need to be 10 for a basic, minimum wage for someone. But that's not the point, of what we do. I mean, the good thing is that the if you watch the ads, that helps contribute certain things, because we pay for editing software each month.
Yeah.
We pay for certain things that do thumbnails and various things. So that contributes towards those costs, which is great. And of course, our coffee members as well, our coffee supporters, they contribute directly, which is lovely as well. So that's terrific.
And they get, our coffee supporters, thank you if you're supporting us on coffee. They get the odd exclusive video as well.
And a number of so on coffee today is I'm not sure if you've seen it, but a photo of me when I was about 10 or 11 at my primary school, and it was one of those photos of the class and the class teacher and the headmaster, and it popped up on Facebook today, and I thought, I haven't seen that photo for so long.
Sherry, to answer your question, no, we don't find it a chore. The only videos that are more challenging are generally the cookery videos, because there's a lot of preparation that goes into them. You have to have everything ready, and you also have to have tested the recipe beforehand to make sure that it works properly. So those are sometimes a little bit more challenging. Plus, you have to think about lighting as well. Make sure everything's illuminated correctly. There are no unnecessary shadows. So, yeah.
Jane
Kelly.
Jane, is it Jane's Growing Garden now?
Jane's Growing Garden.
Jane's Growing Garden on YouTube. She's also got her own Facebook group as well, and has got Patreon as well, I think, as well. Yeah.
We will be doing more cookery. I certainly will be doing more cookery videos.
And I will be.
Once we've been through this process of moving. And, hopefully there will be some videos about the move. We're certainly not going to be documenting the move, but we will be showing, obviously, when we get to the new place, when we buy it. So we will be, showing that as well. So rest assured, we're not going anywhere in terms of video making, but it's minimal at the moment.
And of course, Lucy, yes, we will when we have moved, and I'm hoping that we'll have a size enough of a garden for me to be doing allotmenteering at the garden, in the garden, as well as general growing in the garden as well, flowers and borders and things like that. So that's what I'm hoping for. Whether we'll find a place with a decent garden to be able to do that, who knows, but fingers crossed.
Thank you, Sue. We'll take you up on that offer at some point. We're definitely looking in that area. That's the preferred area that we're hoping to buy a home. There are a few on the market at the moment that I've got my eye on. It's, when you're buying and selling, it's a timing thing very often. So, you put your house on the market, then you've got to find a place. So you have to sort of coordinate all of that and hope that things fall into place. We're lucky. Whenever we've been through those processes before, we've been lucky. Things have fallen into place. I'm a firm believer that if you maintain a positive outlook, things do fall into place for you when they're meant to. So that's why, going back to what we started talking about at the beginning, that's why I believe it's necessary to make sure your home is in good order, so that good energy continues around everything that you do. Yeah.
Robin, I mean, a week at the plot is a lot of editing. So if you think that a week at the plot most probably takes, let's say there's four segments in a week at the plot. That's at least 4 sessions at the allotment, which are going to be a minimum of an hour. I'm usually down there maybe a couple of hours, sometimes just for harvesting or doing short things. Then that gets edited for Planet Vegetaria, so it goes on Planet Vegetaria. Then it goes into our editing software, the individual bits again, and they all get edited together. So a week at the plot most probably takes somewhere in the region of 8 to 9 hours a week to do. But I mean, Gardener's World started last night, or on Friday night rather, and we were watching Nick Bailey this morning, who's just moved house last year, and I was saying, you know, that what I do in a week at the plot is 52 weeks a year allotmenteering. You know, and I think Gardener's World really misses this thing of what people do in the winter to prepare.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Going on and on.
But yeah, so there's quite a lot of editing.
Alexis, you mentioned Anglesey. I love Anglesey. If it was the right place, yeah, most definitely. Will this move be your final destination? No, it won't be, because
Doubt it.
the way that we look at things, and this is the way that you know, I feel most people, if they own a property, should be thinking, is there's going to be money tied up in this final property before we get to the stage where we are needing care. So the money that's tied up in the next property will hopefully go towards paying for our care in old age, or paying for a retirement flat. Because I love flats and apartments, I really do. I'd be quite happy to go straight to an apartment, but Paul would like a garden. So
I mean, you know, but we'll see. We'll see what you know, when it's like I was saying earlier, when you walk into a place, I think you very often know that's where I want to live. So who knows? Somebody who says that they I mean, you know, an hour of video for each minute of the show, I don't know.
Depends on the type, what type of video is being made.
You know, if there's a huge amount of editing in each minute, and then maybe. I find that quite high though. I mean, I know major, you know, I've worked on films, and with films you certainly don't have an hour. You know, the ratio in professional filming would be different as well. So yeah. But yeah, depending upon how much editing.
There you go. Okay.
Solar panels, yes, Robin. I mean, you know, we would love to have solar panels, and we discussed only maybe 2 weeks ago that if there weren't solar panels and the place was right, i.e. the orientation of the roof or land was right, then we would look at getting solar panels, because paying that over sort of, you know, 10 years would certainly be worthwhile in terms of what we would save.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, any more questions?
Tango, yes, we said there's anxiety around the move. Tango Elliott, yeah. And Barmouth, sorry, you mentioned Barmouth earlier. I did mention to Vivi that Barmouth has got some relatively decently priced apartments, 2-bedroom apartments and small places like that.
Oh, there's loads of stuff around that area, around Barmouth for sale at the moment. There's quite a few properties.
I haven't quite pointed out to Vivi yet. There is one 2-bedroom apartment on the seafront in Barmouth, 135,000, I think it is, and it's got a lift up to it. So it's level as you go in, but then you've got a lift up to your apartment.
So when do we think we'll be ready? Well, we've already had the estate agent in to do the evaluation, which was done last year.
An initial
evaluation, but then they will come in within the next 2 weeks. I think we'll be ready. We're nearly there. It's just going to be that final push. Hello, David.
Hi, David.
Welcome. Thank you. So we're 1 hour 38, so it is time to start tying up.
And I've got somebody about to knock on the door in a few minutes to collect the mandolin that I was talking about.
Yeah.
The slicey one, not the playing one.
Yeah. So thank you very much to all of you for joining us today. It's been great. And have a great Sunday and a super week, whatever you're doing. It's going to be super busy for us.
Yeah.
Doing all this stuff, but that's okay. And it's going to be a super busy day too. We need to really crack on with stuff.
Yeah, and I've still got a segment of a week at the plot to do. So I'll be going down to the plot to do that after lunch.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have lunch quite soon.
We've got soup in
Slightly
the fridge.
early.
And yeah, bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Super duper.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for joining us, for subscribing to our channel, for supporting us. It does mean a lot to us. We're genuine about that. And thank you for enjoying our videos. Thank you and joining us today. So say goodbye. Say goodbye now.
Bye now.
Bye now. Yeah, we're going to be going. So get your goodbyes in now.
Going to be pressing the cross.
I'm going to be hitting that cross.
Oh, thanks,
thank
Farmer
you.
Jones. Thank
you.
you. That's great. Yeah.
So take care of yourselves, everybody, and we'll see you probably this time next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll probably continue to do these live until things have settled down.
Yeah.
And we have time to edit. So thank you very much.
Easter Sunday chat.
When is it Easter?
2 weeks.
Oh, it's Easter. And of course our clocks went forward last night.
I did think with the clocks changing, maybe there would be there wouldn't be very many on today. So it's great that there have been loads. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. So take care. Thank you everybody for your lovely wishes. And we're going to go now. I'm going to click the button.
And I'm going to go and heat up some soup in the microwave.
Yay!
Yay!
Lovely. Bananas, everybody.
Bananas! Bananas in pyjamas!
Oh, no, don't. That frightens me, Paul. I don't like that.
Bye!
So, bye for now, everybody. Take care.
Bye!
Bye.